Darren McFadden runs from the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown! And that'll be 5 points. Anybody might be thinking to yourself, 5 points? I thought it was supposed to be 6 points. Not in fantasy football. Hello, my name is Dustin Spooner. I'm currently stationed at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland. And today I'll be informing you on how to have a great winning draft team. And I want you to win big in your draft and your season. I'll also be going over the strategies for a winning season and what pitfalls and traps you need to avoid before the draft even starts. Like it's here, you're going to learn, so let's hit the tapes. There are many different types of strategies. That people tend to use the one that best suits them. There are 3 that I'm going to talk about: the dreamer, the gambler, and the strategist. And just like any other strategy, all 3 have pros and cons. In most of the leagues I've been in, the people who start off, who are, this is their first season, actually tend to choose people that they actually know. This is the dreamer. Unfortunately for the dreamer, you won't be able to pick up every person you know because it would probably be a short list, and because they're known, everyone else is going to want them as well. So the way to fix this is to actually dream big on a couple things. You need to try to get someone that you know in probably the first and second round, and then after that you need to just look for people who are around, people who will complement them and allow them to go. Never pick up a rookie quarterback because defenses pick on them and they're not mature enough for the actual season yet. Now, another one that a lot of my friends actually use is the strategist strategy. Now, you might think whenever you hear the word strategist that they're going to be, extremely good in everything. It's not always the case. The strategist has a fairly decent draft pick, and they pick consistently throughout the draft, helps complement everyone else in the draft, and allows them to get the most points. The only problem is that throughout the weeks, they don't allow people to actually stay consistent. They change out people. They drop people. They add more people that they don't need. Why do you need 5 wide receivers when you only really need 2? Get rid of one of them, pick up someone else to help you out. So when you do that and you constantly change, you actually have no consistency throughout the week, which means you're not going to have, one week you could have 128 points, the next week you'd have 98 points, and you lose because you didn't stay consistent. Consistency is number 1 in that strategy. The last one I'm going to talk about is the gambler. The gambler is someone who thinks that all rookies are going to be extremely good, and that someone who put up a lot of yardage or had a lot of carries last year is going to do the same this year. Not always the case. There are a few elite players out there like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Wes Welker, Calvin Johnson that actually put up season by season by season about the same number, or maybe more some season, but it never really drops that much. So you need to watch out for that. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, which one do I choose? Well, depending on what person you are, you could decide to do whatever you want. But by taking the gambler, the dreamer, and the strategist and actually combining them will give you the best chances during your season. You want to dream big and gamble on maybe 1 or 2 actual draft picks, and use a strategist through the draft, pick up consistent players, and then remember not to fall into the trap of strategist and allow your players to stay consistent. So once you've found the right formula between those 3, you're actually going to need to watch out for some pitfalls. Now, according to the dictionary, a pitfall is a hidden or unsuspected danger or difficulty. Now, what does that mean in fantasy football? For example, it means not believing the hype in a college player. Jamarcus Russell was a player on LSU, which is Louisiana State University. He was actually drafted first round by the Oakland Raiders, and he was supposed to be the next big thing for the organization, and he was expected to be one of the elite quarterbacks of the NFL for years to come. Now, when it came to actually him playing football, a lot of people picked him up, thinking that he was going to be amazing. Why? Because they had heard his name, and they dreamed and gambled on it. Turned out to be a huge bust. Didn't get any points. It destroyed a lot of people's seasons. Now, how do you avoid this? Well, you need to allow a rookie to mature. At least play for 2 years and allow them to mature. They're not scared anymore. They know how to catch the ball. They know the system. That's how you avoid that one. The next pitfall I'm going to talk about is rehabilitated players. A rehabilitated player is a person who's been out by injury a lot and tend to come back throughout the next season, and then sometime during the season get hurt again or out for the rest of the season. Adrian Peterson, unfortunately, is one of these players. He's a player who, if he stays consistently healthy, he will be quite possibly the biggest asset you have. Unfortunately, for the past couple seasons, he's proven otherwise that that he can stay healthy. He's actually shown that he will get injured. Now, a way to avoid this is you might want to pick him up, but pick up someone else who's about to mature and who will get you points to back him up, help you out right there. Now, there's one more pitfall I want to talk about, and that's actually choosing two or more players from one team. You can choose two players from one team if it's a dynamic duo or if they really don't have anything to do with each other. If you want a dynamic duo, you want like Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson, or you want to pick up a running back and a defense. You never want to pick up two running backs from the same team or two wide receivers from the same team, because one of them's going to get the ball more than the other, and you're just wasting points. Don't do that. Help yourself out. Pick people from all over there. If there's 32 teams, I think you'll be able to find someone. Now, avoiding pitfalls, as many of them as possible, will send you to a great season. So, in conclusion, we've talked about the different strategies of your fantasy draft. How you need to combine the three different strategies, the gambler, the dreamer, and the strategist, and help yourself out. Choose one or two draft picks and gamble or dream big on those, and then stay consistent throughout the draft and the season. You also need to avoid the pitfalls. You need to not believe the hype in a college player. You need to watch out for injury-prone players, and you actually need to not choose more than two players from the same team. Well, thank you for listening to me. You will have a great draft and a great season, and let's hit the showers.